I'd like to welcome you guys to another weekly installment of Pokemon What If Wednesday, where every single Wednesday morning I post a video going through last week's investing and collecting questions, where you guys will actually be in the video itself, and one person's question is actually on the thumbnail every single week. So please drop all your questions down below for a chance to be featured in next week's video. And if I did comment to you and say, this might be in next week's video and I didn't use it, just please drop that same comment again and I'll eventually get to it. And remember, I'm not saying I know everything. This is just my personal opinion. You know, if I'm unsure of something, I always like to talk it out with some people and just get other people's opinions. It just helps me make my final decision if I'm unsure. I also wanted to say thank you guys so much for all the support. It honestly blows my mind. That's why I comment back to every single person in my video. I feel like it's the least I can do. Even if my views quadruple from here, I'm still going to do that. So please, if you like this content, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a like. I feel like leaving a like helps the most. You can also check out my Instagram that I just started showing off my collection and my eBay store. And I'm also going to Card Party this year in Orlando, Florida. So please let me know down below in the comments if you guys are going. I would love to meet you. But all right, let's get to the first question. Now, this is the question that was actually featured on the thumbnail. This is from Oz33KO. What if I have $5,000 to spend on sets that are under MSRP? Should we go Crown Zenith 151 or some cases of some Scarlet and Violet booster boxes? Super good question. And I love that we're getting questions for like all different levels, you know, $100, $5,000. That's what I want. I want to have information for everybody in all different levels. So we're going to look at the Scarlet and Violet booster boxes. I really think a lot of people are sleeping on Scarlet and Violet. If you break down the sets and you compare it to all older sets, it's some of the best sets we've ever gotten. Yes, people aren't in love with the new Gen 9 Pokemon, but I swear every single generation, half the people hate the generation until the next generation comes out, and then they like the last generation. It's crazy. So when Generation 10 comes out, I'm sure a bunch of people will be like, Generation 9 is pretty good. Some of these Generation 10 Pokemon suck. It's just, it happens every single time. But I mean, we're talking illustration rares, special illustration rares, the best trainers we've ever gotten. I mean, some of the best gold cards we've ever gotten. It just cannot be compared. So my top three sets are Paldea Evolved, Scarlet and Violet base set, and Paradox Rift. And now that you're talking $5,000, I feel like it is much, much smarter to diversify because you never really know what's going to take off. So when looking at the three sets between Paldea Evolved, Scarlet and Violet base set, and Paradox Rift, I mean, when you look at the base sets historically always do really, really good. And I've actually made a video about this base set. It's one of the best base sets we've ever gotten. I mean, we got the Gardevoir line and we have the Miraidon and Koraidon, and those are the first ever of those cards. So that's a solid set. Paradox Rift is the sleeper set of Scarlet and Violet, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. Even Cool Trainer Ryan said in that big live stream debate that he thinks maybe Paradox Rift for like the Scarlet and Violet set so far. If you look at it, it's the same amount of cards as Paldea Evolved. I mean, you say Paldea Evolved has Magikarp, Paradox Rift has the Groudon, which I think is actually better looking and a more popular Pokemon. And then we actually have special illustration rares from popular Pokemon throughout all different generations. You know, that Tapu Koko is my favorite special illustration rare probably for the entire Scarlet and Violet era. And then Paldea Evolved, especially with that Magikarp going off, I really think Paldea Evolved now is just the best set. Before, when Magikarp wasn't taken off, I really thought it was comparable to Paradox Rift because here's the thing. If you do not like Generation 9 at all, you don't really like Paldea Evolved. And then we got Crown Zenith and 151. So honestly, I would probably invest in all 5 of these things if it were me. If I had $5,000 right now to spend on all sealed products, I would love to just get a little bit of each, especially because I think 151 is really, really going to do super good down the road. And we've already seen Crown Zenith singles starting to take off. You know, sealed comes next. There's just still a good amount. And the one thing I really, really love about Crown Zenith, even over 151, it's so much more fun to open. The pull rates are super, super good. Like we pulled every single gold card. I mean, just constant hits. I know a few people had some bad luck, but the pull rates are actually a lot better. But I know we're talking 151. So that's why I feel like all 5 of these, you know, would be solid investments. Like I would love to take, you know, a risk on a Scarlet and Violet booster box, couple cases of that or whatever it is. And then, you know, Paldea Evolves a no-brainer. Paradox Rift is a sleeper set and, you know, you're getting it a little cheaper. And then, you know, obviously Crown Zenith and 151, you just really cannot go wrong. And then for Crown Zenith, the ETBs are solid. I don't love the Lucario promo. I do love the Galarian Bird Tins. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on the UPC too for 151. I really feel like those promos are going to be worth a little more than people think in the future. It's the best hands down, the best Scarlet and Violet promo we've gotten is that Mew EX. It's the only actual textured illustration rare that we've gotten. So yeah, when I got money like that, I always try to diversify, and I always try to get some stuff that isn't super obvious, like 151, super obvious, Paldea Evolve, super obvious. So I feel like, taking a chance on a Scarlet and Violet base set and Paradox Rift will maybe pay off in the future, because not everybody's doing it, So that's my opinion. All super, super good sets. And if I had to choose between 151 and Crown Zenith on which one is going to do better in the future, I'm probably going to go with 151. I mean, you just cannot compare with Gen 1. It's tough to beat. It really, really is. But all right, let's jump to the next question. This is from Henry Schwo Chow 8578. What if there isn't an Evolving Skies of Scarlet and Violet era? What is the most investable set? You can do a ranking and include non-main sets. So that's why I'm keeping it on the same page here. Honestly, now that that Magikarp took off, Paldea Evolved is the best main set of Scarlet and Violet, hands down, without even, it can't even be argued now. With Paradox Rift, close second, and then Scarlet and Violet in third. But now we're talking 151. We'll probably do the best out of all the sets, to be honest, in Scarlet and Violet so far, if we don't get anything else. But I'm telling you guys, Pokemon isn't stupid. I mean, sometimes they do some dumb things, but they know how much we love the Evolving Skies and how crazy it is. I can almost guarantee we will get something similar to Evolving Skies. So I really, really do have faith, because they've been doing it really good. And I actually do like that they're giving a lot of love to these new DLC Pokemon. I think it's going to be better for the future stuff, because now with so many sets and all these new Pokemon, there's just getting a lot more exposure. People will eventually start to like these Pokemon. It always happens. And down the road, I really think a lot of kids are going to come back to get these original sets that they grew up on, just like we all did. So yeah, I really think Paldea Evolved and 151 are just top tier. All right, next question is from PokeGov. I need the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved in a PSA 10 for my collection. I have it in a 9.5 BGS, pulled and graded myself. Do I sell that now and buy the PSA 10 when and if the price drops? Do I crack and cross over, or do I hold the BGS and buy PSA anyway? Now, I have seen a ton of people actually crack 8.5s, 9s, and 9.5s in BGS and get a PSA 10. It really is crazy. Like, Beckett is very, very strict. They're honestly the goats of grading, in my opinion, when it comes to that high level. That's why I love the Black Label. But PSA 10s right now are so popular. It's the most popular thing in the world. But look at all these sales, and it just keeps going. $650, almost a $700 PSA 10 card. This card is hard to grade. So if the card does look clean and you're not really sure, it's not super obvious why it got a 9.5, I would definitely crack that bad boy and send it over to PSA. It's just a no-brainer, unless you got a bunch of money and you want both. But in my opinion, yeah, I'd probably just, cross-grade it. I've seen it so many times. You have a very, very good chance of getting a 10, I would say. But again, I haven't really seen your card or anything, but just from what I've seen a bunch of people do that on videos, and I'd be shocked at how many 10s there are. But yeah, look at all these Magikarps. Isn't that crazy? Someone got there for $580. It's a good deal now. All right, next question is from TR4SHBoat109. What would you do if there was a card that's lightly played and over $150 less than near mint? Would you buy the lightly played or save for the near mint copy? Gengar VMAX Alt. So I honestly always save for the near mint copy. Now, these cards are a little different because they're going to be so expensive in the future to where people will be buying lightly playeds, but still, you're not getting very many sales compared to near mint. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, so tons of near mints, only 4 lightly playeds. And here's the thing, you're still paying $350 minimum, which it looks like the only good seller is at least $400. If you're gonna do it, you're paying $400 already, you might as well just pay that extra $150, and you're getting something that way more people want. Because there are a ton of collectors. Just think about this, there are so many collectors that just won't even buy a lightly played card. So you're automatically just cutting out so many people who would maybe want to buy your card in the future. So that's why I always try to stick with near mint. Plus, when you're looking at it, it's so much nicer knowing it's just clean. So yeah, that's my opinion. Next is from Matt Perkowski 3436. Do you have any thoughts on when you'd buy 151 Raws and 10s? Just picked up a Charizard Alt Art and wanted to get some more. Here's the thing, I don't think these 151 prices are really gonna drop a ton. They're just so strong, and it's one of the best, if not best, specialty sets we've ever gotten, art-wise too. It really cannot be denied. So A lot of these cards, they go down a tiny bit, go back up. It's just pretty level. I am personally buying 151 cards myself to finish my collection. So, you know, that tells you something. And honestly, I feel like a lot of these cards are undervalued. This Pikachu being, you know, a $15 card is just crazy. Such a good art. So I could honestly see a lot of these cards going up in price in the future, like very soon too. Especially if we don't get a ton more 151 in stock, these cards will just start slowly rising, I think. So yeah, I am personally buying these myself right now. So actually some of the PSA 10s are not too bad in price. All right, next question. Now this is from one of my longest members, FBomb94. He is also going to Card Party. Definitely check out his channel. He has very, very good card openings. How well do you think the Pokemon Center ETBs from the Scarlet and Violet Air sets will do in the future? Would you think this would be a year investment or a 5+ year investment given that the promos are new to them? So I really think these are going to do a lot better than people think. These blow every ETB we've ever gotten out of the water. Not even close. And if you go look at the prices for the stamped sealed promos, they're pretty crazy. So I really think these are going to do good. But with Ultra Modern, especially now, we're getting the most stuff printed ever. I think everything's going to be a minimum 3 to 5 years, closer to 5 years now. I really feel like that's what's going to happen. Every time it's a new generation, new era, you know, we're getting more cards. It's just going to take a little bit longer for stuff to go up. That's all that's going to happen. So yeah, I think these are going to do really, really good. But yeah, it's going to take a while, 3 to 5 years probably at least, for any of these to like really, really take off. But as you can see, a lot of these are actually pretty expensive, $75, almost $100. So I love these ETBs. I'm so happy they did that. Reminds me of, you know, back in the day when we used to get box toppers in booster boxes. I don't know if you guys ever knew that. I think PokeRev just opened a box that had a box topper. I cannot remember what set it was now, but I love when they do that. It's really, really cool. But all right, next question is from TJ Carter. With the next game being an XY remake and Megas returning and Sword and Shield rocketing now, do you think stocking up on old XY era hits and Megas is a solid move? Pretty solid question. Now here's the thing. A lot of people just love this modern art. And when you really look at this art, I'm not obsessed with a lot of the mega cards. It's just some of them here. You know, I love the full arts and stuff like that. These look really, really good with the Japanese version because the Japanese version has the word in English on it, if you guys didn't know that. So I do feel like these will go up in value when megas come out. I just don't think they're going to like go super crazy. Let's check this Mega Charizard here. I think this is a really, really good looking Charizard. I mean, it's going down. Let's check 1 year. Curious on that. So the high was 48, used to be 36, still 42. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like they'll go up a little bit when megas come out, but I really feel like our new mega cards are going to be so good to where people aren't going to want these as much. That's just kind of what's happening right now. You know, everything's just so hot with the modern and it takes a while, and not everybody likes going back to the vintage and the history. That's what I love. My favorite stuff is the history, what I grew up on. But yeah, I do think they will go up in value a little bit, but not a ton. All right, next question. Nolan25 Weasel 63. You guys' names are seriously hilarious. I love it. Is it worth investing in XY Evolutions ETBs? I have also been eyeing these myself because I think these are some of the best looking ETBs we've ever gotten. You know, a Charizard and a Blastoise. And I do feel like they're a little undervalued. And they've been just chilling for a while. Let's see here. 194. The cheapest it was in the last 6 months was 191. Yeah, it's just been pretty level, right around 190 this whole time. Let's check 1 year. You know, was almost a 200, so it's just been chilling. Same with the Charizard one. The Charizard one's always a little more expensive, but you know, 217 to 228. Let's check this 1 year here. So the high was 231 down to 210, back to 228. But I mean, last sold 193, 193, 190, 190. So I mean, it looks like it's a $200 ETB now. I don't think that's a terrible price for this set. I mean, the set itself isn't the greatest, but I mean, the booster box is like $700. And like I said, such beautiful ETBs. Like if you have both of these, they display so nicely. So as myself, as a collector, I want to get these actually pretty badly. So next question. Are PSA 9s worth investing in if I can't or don't want to spend PSA 10 money? Honestly, I'd probably stay away from PSA 9s now. Back then, wasn't a huge deal. But there's so many people grading cards now that there's just automatically half the people don't even want a PSA 9, especially if we're talking modern cards. Maybe for vintage, you know, that's a little bit of a different story, but anything from 2020 on, everybody knew, you know, everybody knows the sleeve now and put it in top loaders, like even the kids and everything now, because the grading thing went crazy. So I really do think the PSA 9s are going to be hard to sell in the future. I really, really do. Maybe for some of those Grail cards that are just so expensive, people can only afford the 9. But again, there's just so many. I mean, there's over 11,000 PSA 10 Umbreons. There's a ton of PSA 10s now of like everything, to where I just don't think people are going to be too interested in the PSA 9s. I mean, we can even take a little look here. Here's the Umbreon V from Evolving Skies in a PSA 10. So May 13th, 390, May 12th, 360, May 12th, 400, May 12th, May 12th, you know, May 12th. Then we'll check out the 9s here. And I mean, they're still getting sales. I'm, you know, not saying that. But I mean, the 10th, we got 175, the 9th, 195, November 6th, weird. May 6th right there, May 5th, May 5th, May 2nd, May 2nd, couple May 2nds there, April 29th. So, I mean, you're not getting nearly as many sales. But again, look at all these sales. People are going to still collect the 9s. I just don't think, especially in the future, you're going to think there's so many people that have this card specifically in grading right now. Everybody sent this card in right now. You know, it's not just, you know, a $50 to $100 card anymore. It has potential to make big money in a PSA 10. So yeah, I just feel like a lot of these cards are just going to sit for PSA 9s. It's going to be slow sales in the future. But all right, let's get to the next question. This is from Jason Penna 2000. When does it make sense to sell cards that trade shows at 80% of its value? It's honestly just the quickest and easiest way. You can take your entire collection there and boom, walk out with a bunch of money. I'd say it's just for convenience, honestly. It's just selling and doing it all individually takes forever. Seller fees and everything. It half the time it does almost pay off just going to those card shows, just dropping it all on one thing, you know, one person buying it all. It just makes it a lot easier. Next, MDD0101. As far as grading goes, what is worth grading? I have complete Shadowless Base, Fossil, and Jungle that have been in a binder forever. Should I grade all the holos? If you're trying to sell them, yes. If you're not trying to sell them, if you don't plan on selling them, do not do this. I did the same thing and it drives me nuts. I used to love looking through my complete binders and now they're all missing spots because I got all these cards graded and stuff. I wish I never would have done it. Yes, they're worth way more value-wise, but I was never going to really sell them in the first place. So please, if you do plan on selling them, then yes, grade them. If you do not plan on selling them, just keep them in your binder. It's so much better to look at. If you want, you can maybe grade a few of your favorite cards that you want to display because it's not the best, you know, display in a binder. You could do that. But then again, you're getting holes. I honestly filled almost every spot in my binder. I bought the cards again raw because they graded so good. A lot of my vintage cards graded in 9s and 10s. So I just went out and bought them raw, even if they're more lightly played near mint, because it's just like I already have them and graded, and I hate these holes in my binder. Because I actually really, really enjoy even looking at the old vintage commons and stuff like that, and uncommons, because those are the cards that I had a ton of as a kid. So yeah, just be careful, especially if you got OCD like me and you want everything to look nice and neat. Man, it drives me nuts. I still have a few missing spots in my binders, and it just drives me nuts because I know I have the set complete. All right, next question is from the U131. How many copies of a card do you buy? It's nice to see prices rise, but I love all my alt art collection and will probably never want to sell them. I'm the same way. I ain't selling none of my alt arts. I always try to get 3 of each. If I can get anything sealed, cards, anything graded cards, if I do plan on, selling them in the future, 3 is the best because you got options with 3. You can keep 2, sell 1 5 years down the road, sell another one 25 years down the road, and you still have 1. Because if you got 2, you only have an option to sell 1 time. And sometimes you're going to want to sell multiple times. So I always try to at least get 3. But I feel you 100%. I could not sell my alternate arts either. So yeah, that was this week's What If Wednesday. Like I said before, if you guys do have questions, please drop them in this week's video for a chance to be featured in next week's video. And one person's question will be on the thumbnail. And if you guys want to check out my last Pokemon Market Monday, click this video right here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.